Le Mans Ultimate brings update 1.3 with the third and final part of the ELMS Championship DLC. This update is another step up to a more complete LMU package that brings important improvements that will be essential for the future console development of this title. Like it has been for most of the Le Mans Ultimate DLC releases, the update attached to the DLC is more important than the DLC content itself. The update is free, but the DLC will have a price of £9, €10, or $12 US. The DLC will come with 2 pieces of content, the LMP Duquine D09 and the Barcelona track. But there's more. But before going there, a big thank you to all the viewers, members and subscribers for the support. If you can leave a like and a sub, that will be great. And if you need setups for Le Mans Ultimate, check out channel sponsor Coach Dave Dadota. But let's move onwards because there's plenty to cover. We got the content, but let's cover the update itself because there's going to be some deep structural changes to the game build. You could say game changing. It's quite true. The first one is related with middleware implementation. It's boring stuff at the surface, but it quite unbores the most important part of the game for me, which are the loading times at the moment. Le Mans Ultimate was using some sort of Chromium middleware, if I got it right, and they changed it to one called Coherent. This is done to prepare the game to console releases, hopefully early next year, and you should improve the load times. Load times have been quite a pet peeve of mine since R-Factor 2 times, and Le Mans Ultimate was faster. It was getting faster with post 1.0 update, but quite obnoxious. I did a few tests in my machine, a 9800X3D. The game is installed in a Crucial P3's Gen 4. You know, it's decent stuff. The point is, it's a good CPU installed in a decent SSD. ACC, Evo, and PMR in the same place loads in 3 to 5 seconds. And I did a couple of tests to check out these claims that they were improving the load times with this new middleware. I did this by creating a single player session at Le Mans, full grid with GT3s, hypercars, LMP2s, you know, all of the stuff. And before the update, it took 1:33. That's quite slow. After the update, 31 seconds. It's still slow, but far better. And I also tried race loop plates because those take a little bit of time as well, especially when it's full grid. Normally they take around 40 to 50 seconds. In my test for one specific one, it took 49 seconds. That turned into 22 seconds. That's well over 50% improvement in both cases. It is massive. In the press pack, they say there should be a 20% improvement, but in my case is way more, so your mileage may well vary. But leave in the comments below if you see a difference once the update is out. The other update in the game is related to Trueforce and force feedback haptics integration. I think Trueforce should be a more commonplace implementation in titles. It's a decent boon in Assetto Corsa Competizione, iRacing, but especially in Gran Turismo 7. For those who don't have Trueforce, some effects will be still present, but the menu will change from Trueforce to force feedback effects. By the way, they added some bass shaker controls in the menus as well. But anyways, I wanted to see if there was some sort of big difference in the integration of those effects in and outside of Logitech, so I tested the title with the Logitech RS50, the Asetec Forte that I'm testing for a long-term review, so subscribe to keep up to date, and the Fanatec Podium DD that has something similar called Full Force. I have affiliate links for all the wheelbases below if you want to check them out. Let's start with Podium DD. The Podium DD was using the Fanatec McLaren or GT3 or whatever it's called nowadays with that QR2 light, making it a very light wheel, so any change in frequencies or effects are quite easy to pick up. I didn't feel any difference at all with the Podium DD, sliders at maximum, sliders at minimum, full force 0 or 100 in the software or in the wheel. It made absolute zero difference. Maybe there will be a firmware update in the future to pick these effects up. With the Asetec, there was definitely a difference. The force feedback felt that were more effects that came through, but not necessarily the ones that I wanted to feel. They still felt a little bit muted and muddled. I don't think this wheelbase specifically is really built for this, but the effects are there. With the RS50, we were talking about a Trueforce native wheelbase. Yes, there is definitely a difference. It definitely feels fuller, a more pronounced feel in change in the front tires, the engine vibrations, But I must say though, that the effects are quite tame compared to iRacing, ACC or GT7, and in GT7 it tends to be really good. Normally, I have to turn the Trueforce volume down to make it manageable with the RS50 and especially with the Pro. It can be left in LMU at 100 and it still feels kind of weak. I'm unsure how it's going to be with the Pro because I don't have one to test here, and that one has definitely more strength. But regardless, for me, this is the most under-seasoned implementation of Trueforce. iRacing does it right, ACC does it right, Gran Turismo 7 does it great, LMU, in my opinion, just does it. Still, on the update side, there's a bunch of BOP adjustments that you'll be seeing a couple of them in the screen. The McLaren seems to have been buffed a bit. Yay! Now for content. I think you're definitely here for that as well. I've been talking about the update implementations or whatever, but content, I'm not sure what to say because they're bang on great as always. And by the way, you'll definitely want to subscribe and come back tomorrow. I'm not saying this for any particular reason, wink wink nudge nudge. Let's start with the car. The Duquine, I think it's called Duquine, it's the D09 and it completes the LMP3 roster. It's an excellent car to drive. I felt this was the most balanced car out of the bunch of the LMP3s, though the Ginetta has received a center of gravity update to help stability under braking, so it's less deadly. You should check also that one out if you have access to it. I felt right at home driving the D09. It's a wonderful, nimble little thing, and for some reason, like I'm saying, I feel like I'm saying something really stupid. It kind of felt, for some reason, like the Assetto Corsa MX-5 Cup with more grip and more aero. It feels stable. It feels that it's still eager to turn. It likes to be pushed. It's compliant even when we're doing something stupid. It's not a dent sentence when you lose a little bit of grip, except for braking, but that's, you know, par for the course for the LMP3s. Speaking of those are a great class. If you buy the DLC, at least try the D09 for 10 minutes single player. I'm not going to ask for more, and I promise you, your reaction should be something like, huh, this is actually quite decent to drive. And the D09 at Imola, it's really fun. Then we have the track, it's Barcelona. It's another banger as always. The layout available is the modern F1-1, so there's no cheeking with the revised La Coixa corner. I mean, there's only much I can say about these models of tracks because Studio 397 always does an excellent job with their tracks. The tracks drive nice, they feel nice, they have good ambiance, and with LMU physics you can actually use some of the curbing instead of flying to the stratosphere. It's wheel built, it is super detailed. I think this is going to be a popular track in silver and gold. And in the subject of tracks, there is also going to be added the Portimão and Spa LMS layouts to 44 grid slots. They also added the WEC national and international Silverstone layouts, and they added 4 extra Paul Ricard layouts, the 1A, the 1A V2, the 1A V2 short and 3A. Anyways, this will give you some variety to already existing content base. Barcelona, in my opinion, still needs the chicane version because that's actually quite fun in GT3s. And on subject of tracks as well, LMU needs 1 or 2 more free tracks, not just DLC tracks that you need to pay. I'm talking about free tracks because bronze races are getting stale and the base content is great and all. It's good to have free cars every so often, but the track roster ends up being really important, especially for those who want to just try the title or are not too fussed about races that are longer. The game has base content that is very limited in its track selection, and I think it's fair to raise this point. A couple of more fast points about this update. The first one is that the career is still not ready yet, and for all the glazing I do to this game, it will only really feel complete once the career mode is out because it should be a big thing. And one last small point, it's going to be FPS stability. For me, it seems to be better, but I didn't measure it in an appreciable way, and maybe it's placebo. Just tell us below. Okay, to summarize all of this bullshit, 1.3 is another structural update to Le Mans Ultimate. These major updates do feel deeper other than wider in changes. There's more being done under the hood to upgrade the experience other than just content, not just in the case of making it easier for us to use the game, but also to prepare it for console release whenever that comes out. I like where the game is headed and it loads faster. For me, this is a very good update. check it out, just the update. Remember, you don't need the DLC to get the improvements. Check it out, I think you're gonna have some fun.